in this problem, you will find that it's very similar to the one that I showed in class about the fans attending a baseball game, but I've changed it to a little bit more personal so that maybe you guys can have a little bit more connection to it. That's the idea. 8 people attended a football game at Taysom against ABA. Everyone at the game was either a fan of Taysom or ABA. The number of Taysom fans was 5 more than twice the number of ABA fans. How many Taysom and ABA fans were at the game? Before we get into writing the equations in order to solve this, first we have to understand the premise of the problem. And that can be interpreted through looking at the question. The question asks how many Taysom and ABA fans were at the game. This gives us what our unknowns should be. Our unknowns are Taysom, number of Taysom fans, and number of ABA fans at the game. Maybe I'll put in a little at the game below there to be a bit more specific. And then, once you just decide what your unknowns are, choose a variable that best represents it. In this case, T can represent Taysom, and A can represent ABA. Next, we want to look at the problem and decide what are the 2 relationships that occur between these unknowns. And that can be seen by each sentence in the word problem. In this particular case, we're going to use every single sentence. That doesn't mean that every single word problem you use every single sentence, but let's look at this. Let's see what 80 people attended the game at Taysom against ABA. Okay? So, we can assume there's 80 people there, and look, additional information. We know that everyone at the game was either a fan of Taysom or of ABA. Well, that makes it pretty nice because then we know that we don't have to have any other variables. Our 2 variables in this relationship of 80, the number of Taysom fans and the number of ABA fans together, equal 80, the total number of fans at the game. Nice, not bad. Okay? So, the total number of fans is equal to the total number of people at the game. That's supposed to say game. I swear, that's supposed to say game. Let's try going down the other line. There we go. Okay, so there's our first parameter relationship. Now, let's look at our second parameter relationship. That's in the next sentence. The number of Taysom fans was 5 more than twice the number of ABA fans. Let's try to express that in an equation. The number of Taysom fans was twice more. Sorry, I did that wrong. I read the sentence wrong. Was 5 more than twice the number of ABA fans. So we can have here that the number of Taysom fans is equal to 5 more than twice the number of ABA fans. So in our system, this is what the systems of equations should look like. First equation, t plus a equals 80. Second equation, t equals 5 plus 2a. And the best way to solve this problem is by substitution. And the reason why we want to solve this by substitution is that the variable t is in both equations, and here t is solved for. So that means that anytime we have t in another equation other than this one, where it's solved for, we can replace t for this expression. So we're going to do that. We're actually going to put 5 plus 2a in for t. Let's see what that looks like. 5 plus 2a, that's t. So instead of writing t, we wrote 5 plus 2a plus a, that's the other a, equals 80. Now a lot of times you will want to put parentheses around what you substitute. In this particular case, since we're using addition, it's not going to have any effect on our final result. But oftentimes if you have multiplication or if you have subtraction, then that's really going to make a difference. So get in the habit of putting parentheses around what you're going to substitute. Let's continue solving. 5 plus 3a is equal to 80. So from the previous one, we had 5 plus 3a is equal to 80. So we're going to subtract 5, and we have 3a is equal to 75. Divide by 3, and a is equal to 25. Now we're not quite done yet, because once we have that a equals 25, remember that we have t plus a is equal to 80. So we're going to have to substitute in 25 for a into the equation and then solve for t. So t is now going to be 55. And then one last step. Going to want to write in terms of the situation. So if a is 25 and t is 55, then that means there were 55 TASM fans and 25 ABA fans at the football game. Voila.